Hi, friends. Top 5 highlighters. What role does highlighter play in my makeup routine? I do hold it in high regard, not as high as blush. For me, blush is incredibly versatile in terms of how many tasks you can use for it, right? Depending on the shade, you can use it for sculpting purposes, sun-kissed purposes, flush purposes. It livens up the complexion for me, and the one product I rely on if I had to abandon all others in order to give my face some life. You know what I'm saying? Highlighter, at first I'm like, I'm gonna hold it in third place out of blush, bronzer, and highlighter. But I remember and realized when filming the B-roll for this video that depending on the color and the texture of highlighter, you could play with it on different parts of your cheeks. It is mainly applied on the cheekbones for like this glistening effect, but depending on the shade, you could also apply it lower on the apples of your cheeks for more of like a cheek topper moment. It was more on the bronzy side, you could place it in the hollows and like clutch my pearls. Applying a texture that has shine on the hollows of your cheeks, what are you doing? I think it's fine to do 100%. And that will lead us into our first product, and that is no other than the Dior Backstage 001 Universal Glow Face Palette. This is one of my most favorite highlighter products out of my entire collection. This was the first one released, and I believe one of the products from the first release of Dior Backstage. Dior Backstage was a category within the Dior beauty brand that catered more to makeup artists, and that is recognized by the fact that you have the plastic packaging. It is see-through on purpose so the artist can see the product, not have to flip the compact to know what it is. Also released were the eyeshadow palettes and various other products, but the Glow Face palette, and as you saw, has 4 different highlighter shades, and one of them being more of a bronzer color, bronzing color. And I made sure to use a fluffy brush. This is the Sonia G Lotus Cheek. It's not dense, has really nice movement on the skin, moderate pickup, and I was able to achieve a nice hue of bronze in the hollows without it appearing too muddy. And although the texture has sheen to it, has a pearlescent finish, it didn't look odd on my skin at all. In fact, I absolutely love it, and sometimes do apply some of these more pearlescent textures into the hollows if the shade is appropriate. And then I followed with the pink shade, which is a little cool on me for sure, but I made sure to apply it on the apples of my cheeks for that pop of color, followed by the golden shade on the majority of my cheekbone area, and topped everything off with that more silvery pearlescent shade that just delivered that ultra shine starlight pop on the very high points of my cheekbones. And all together you can see here I am shiny. Okay, what's notable about the Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette texture is just how smooth it is. It delivers this wet effect on the skin without looking overly textured, because that is a challenge we all encounter. If we have texture on the skin, highlighter naturally will enhance it. It's going to bring it forward. However, when you have a texture, a formula that is ultra smooth and fine milled and actually can lessen the effect of texture on the skin, well, you have a winner. And the Dior face palette is no other than that. This released in July of 2018, and maybe a year afterwards, 002 Glitz release. And I always think about Mel Thompson, rest in peace, or Mel Thompson. Her favorite shade was this peachy shade here, and the Glitz palette had a more reflective texture. It was a little drier, but my goodness, I thought it was lovely just to place on the cheeks if you wanted a little more dazzle, where the original 001 more conservative or more standard in terms of highlighter finishes. It had a smoother pearl finish, but the 002 Glitz Compact again included a slightly drier formula, but because it is drier, it is a little more reflective, right? So this was another one I thoroughly enjoyed, and I believe it was October 2020 where we had the 3 colorways in the pink, or the rose gold, the copper gold, and the pure gold. These were like wham bam in your face. Included in the compacts was definitely more of like a in your face type of a texture. It had a little more dryness there. You could see it was more of like that overlay effect. It didn't have a stronger or strong base color like that's found in the 001 Universal palette. This was more of like a topper highlighter moment found in all 3 palettes, and I don't think these are available anymore. If they are, very much scattered across the several retailers that still might carry this product, but boy, oh boy, am I happy that I have all 5 of them. Do I need all 5 highlighter palettes with 4 shades in them each? Absolutely not, but man, is it a blast to just dip in all these different types of textures. I'm picking up from the copper gold, one of the, or let's just do both, the here just on the very tops of the apples of the cheeks, because look at that effect. This, my gosh, Dior, I could say with confidence, Dior dominates in my highlighter collection. In addition to these Backstage compacts, I also have the Dior Forever Couture Luminizer, which I think is also a standout formula. Even before that, they had the silver compact, the Dior Skin Nude Luminizer. This was a special edition in Summer Dune, or excuse me, the Summer Dune collection, and this shade is Pink Dune. What exceptional, exceptional. Dior can make a highlighter, but the Backstage palettes are by far one of my most favorites and what I consider to be in my top 5, simply because of the diversity of the different textures, the shades, and just the ease of use, the accessibility, and the way it's designed. Sure, it doesn't look as luxe as the silver compact, but I kind of like the fact that I could see the product and not flip it over to know. Easy to identify it, but still easier to just look at it. You know what I'm saying? Had to be included on this list. And let's go into a different texture and a highlighter that I equate to the Dior experience, the Backstage experience, by having several shades available to me. The Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Dual Highlighter Sticks. These bombs. Okay, dual highlighter. Comes in 3 colorways, the nude, golden, and the bronze. Amazing. One side is your universal glass skin balm side, and the other is the more shimmery pearl finish, again coming in the nude, golden, and bronze shades. I applied the bronze one through the hollows of my cheeks, followed with the golden shade maybe closer to the apples of my cheeks, and applied the nude shade higher on the cheekbones. And my goodness, it's interesting, the bronzer shade from the Dior Backstage palette has more of a tawny hue to it. I have to be a little more careful with that application, but the bronze shade from the Skin Fetish Dual Highlighter Stick, warmer, is more of a golden bronze color, and even though there's shimmer in the texture, or shimmer in the formula rather, it doesn't look gritty on my skin. It just provided such beautiful warmth to the hollows. And for bronzer, I feel you could be a little more liberal with its application because it's not meant to sculpt. Although people sometimes rely on bronzer for contouring purposes, contouring, I feel you have to be a little more strict with the texture and color you decide to apply on your cheeks. But with bronzer, you could play with the color, you could play with the texture, which I did here using the highlighter stick and this color onto the hollows, and my goodness, it was just beautiful. But one of my most favorite elements about the dual stick is the fact that you just have the universal balm side. If you don't want any shimmer on the cheekbones, fine, you just place the clear balm, which provides a beautiful glass skin effect on the skin, which I think important to add dimension on your face. Again, if you're not into shimmer or high shine finishes, if you don't like to apply powder, just that clear balm stick is essential. And it also made me think about the Westman Atelier sticks. Suku has fantastic highlighter sticks as well. The fact that the Pat McGrath Lab stick comes with both, and how it's designed. I love this packaging. You have the white with the gold chrome finishing here and the logo on the center that's etched in to the tube, the component. It's extraordinary. I have all three, and these are pretty old, okay, and I still use them. I especially like the texture of the shimmer side. It's not too gritty, it's actually quite soft. And pro tip, I would recommend you apply the balm side first to have that little bit of a zhuzh, and then you go in with the shimmer side, especially if you like to powder here under the eyes, if you take it higher towards the temples. The balm side, I think, will better prep the skin for better adherence with the pearl side, right? So just had to include it on this list because these balm sticks I still use, and every time I apply them on my cheekbones, it's always a moment of like, wow, that looks fantastic. And it's an exceptional formula. And the fact that you can use this in conjunction with other products, right? So if I wanted better adherence or a smoother application, let's say from the more reflective, drier textures from the Backstage palettes, I could go in with the clear balm side first, apply that on the cheekbones, right? And then tap on that powder. You don't even know. You don't even know the effect that cocktail will present. Okay? Take note. I'm thinking about another highlighter that I feel hold on. I was going to present the By Mario Soft Glow Highlighter. I do think this is a fantastic highlighter. It's soft. It's not high shine. It's more of like a sheen, which I understand some people prefer. But the highlighter that replaced the Mario just now is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glow. Now, I understand this only comes in one color and the Mario one comes in like 5. I get it. This highlighter, this has such beautiful high shine without looking textured on the skin, gritty on the skin. It is fantastic. And the highlighter game for Natasha Denona in general, untouchable, because her face palettes purposefully include cream products to set up the cheekbone area. Again, as I had explained, when you apply a powder on the cheekbones and it's dry, it doesn't have that same effect. It doesn't look smooth. It lacks that luminosity, right? So when you prep the skin well in providing some moisture and apply a powder afterward, be it a traditional powder or more of a gelé powder, it looks more brilliant on the skin, smoother on the skin. It just has a more potent wet effect look, right? And every time you encounter a Natasha face palette, it's going to have a cream in there to set up the glow. But the I Need a Nude Glow formula all on its own, this baked gelée texture is exceptional. It is smooth, and despite the fact that it's baked, it's easy to pick up, it's easy to apply. You could use a variety of brushes with this formula and be more liberal with the application. You don't necessarily have to keep it here on the high point of the cheekbone. You could bring a little lower if you wanted. And again, because of the gelée formula, is a lot softer on the skin and can just beautifully buff onto your skin's texture in a way that's not going to amplify the texture. It will smooth it out a little bit, but still provide that shine. But I understand if you take precaution in applying too much highlight, if you're more conservative with the placement, how much you blow it out, right? But my goodness, I just remembered about I Need a Nude while filming and how exceptional it is. So I have to include it on this list. And why don't we go into a highlighter that kind of reminds me of I Need a Nude Glow. And I know it's kind of the same, but I had to include it still. This is no longer available, but it's the Givenchy Teint Couture Shimmer Powder. This released, I believe, in 2019, and it is a gelée texture like the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude, but my goodness, it was one of those things when I first applied this highlighter, this beautiful gold highlighter, I was like, no way. How can a powder highlighter be this smooth? The color was perfect. It was a champagne gold. It didn't have too much yellow, but it wasn't too frosty. And this also came in a more pink colorway. I think I gave that one away. It's fine. It's fine. I kept the gold because it is an appropriate shade for me to apply on my skin tone. I tend to gravitate toward the more champagne, gold-leaning highlighter colors. The Givenchy is just exceptional, and I can't get enough. The wet effect look, very much like what the I Need a Nude Glow highlighter presents. It is incredible, smooth on the skin. You don't need much. You don't need much, and it is foolproof to apply. You just slap it on, and it just melts. It just melts onto the cheekbones. It just goes, and it's there. It gives you the glow. It gives you the highlight, and it also cocktails beautifully well with other products, which I like to do sometimes, because the more highlighter you apply, and I know it can get a little dangerous depending on your skin texture, I just think that provides beautiful dimension to the face. You just have to be strategic with how much you apply, what brush you use, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're not overly powdered, maybe going with the balm first, okay? And you're all set to go. I mean, there is nothing better than a high shine, brilliant highlight that looks smooth on the skin, that's easy to apply. Okay, and that is the Givenchy, had to be on this list. And the last one I would like to present might be surprising to you, but it is an example of what I described at the beginning in considering highlighter to be more diverse than I originally thought in terms of how many things or where you could place it on your face, not just on your cheekbones. And that's why I had to include the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Multi-Glow Beautifying All Over Glow Highlighter. What a name. I was late to the game with this one, and I requested this product to be sent to me when working with Beautylish during one of their gift card events. So this had released long before I got my hands on it. This is in the colorway Dream Light. It has 4 different shades you can see, but what I love about this product is the fact that yes, is a little deeper than the first colorway, which probably more of a highlight on my skin tone, but I applied it here on my cheeks. Not a problem. It has this beautiful soft peach coral glow that I thought looked beautiful on my cheeks. And yes, I used a light hand. I wouldn't have applied as much as I would do with a demi matte product formula or just a matte powder formula. I thought it was still lovely, and applied with perhaps the Dior highlighter, the Givenchy, the Natasha Denona, a little bit of the McGrath dual highlighter stick, it would have been incredible. And I'm just blown away by the texture of this product. It is soft, and it has more of an airbrushed effect on the skin, despite it having shimmer in the formula. I just think it lovely to apply blush types of shades with sheen on the apples of your cheeks. I think it just provides beautiful glow, and where it's not too bright on the lower part of your cheek, where you can reserve the brighter, more highlighted colors and effects here on the cheekbone, and then you can bring down more of like the coral peachy types of highlighter lower on the apples. And I know that's not favorable to all, for sure. Go with what you like to do. Use precaution. If you're like, Alicia, that looks like a desert there, no way. I totally get it. I can get away with applying shimmer type products on the apples of my cheeks, and when using something like the Pillow Talk All Over Glow, it is exceptional. And I had to include it because every time I use this product, it's like, wow, this is real pretty. It's real pretty. And can you imagine, my goodness, going in with the Charlotte Tilbury, following up with the Dior Backstage, but with the rose gold curation, or even the glitz. I think maybe the glitz is a better pairing. My goodness, we'll go highlighter crazy one of these days. But these are my top 5. I have other favorites 100%. I'm sure you're gonna bring up favorites of my own that I've featured in previous videos, and you're like, where's that one, Alicia? And I'm like, oh my god, I forgot. These, however, are standout to me because when I think back to when I first used them and my disbelief, just the shock, the awe at that time when applying these highlighters, it just sticks. It holds a heavy place in my memory bank, and it is just clear as day my reaction and how I felt at the time when first applying these highlighters. I was pleasantly surprised and delighted then, and I'm still pleasantly surprised and delighted now. These 5 hold it down. If I don't want to think about this. If I got rid of all the highlighters, all of them, and I just had these 5, I will be fine. And yes, although I showed all 5 of the Dior Backstage palettes, I would still choose 001 Universal. Oh, would it be 002? I don't know, man. I think maybe 002 because it does lean a little warmer. It does. Looking at both of them now, I always go back and forth. What captures me every time is the original gold shade from the 001 creation. And although 002 has the more glitzy texture, I think overall this is my jam. This is more of my wheelhouse of color because of this cooler pink shade found in 001. I can deal with it, but this definitely I feel is more appropriate for my skin tone. I love both. I love both. So yes, if I had a gun held to my head, I would choose 002 because it was also Mel's favorite. So we gotta go with 002. So those are my top 5 highlighters, family. Let me know what yours are down below. I will see you down in those comments, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, top 5 extravaganza. Ooh, what else can we do? We did top 5 blushes, top 5 bronzers, we did top 5 highlighters, maybe top 5 nude lipsticks. Ooh, maybe that's what's next. Take care, and I will see you again soon.